Did you know that female dogs have some incredibly surprising traits that make them totally different from males? And we're not just talking about the basics. We're diving into 12 jaw-dropping facts that will change the way you see your girl pup forever. From unexpected maternal instincts to heartwarming moments, these facts will make you fall in love with your dog even more. Stick around because number 9 is so sweet it'll melt your heart. Let's uncover the fascinating secrets about female dogs that you never knew before. Let's kick things off with a fascinating and somewhat surprising fact. Female dogs often display incredibly strong maternal instincts, even toward animals that aren't their own pups. Take Cassie, a golden retriever, for example. She adopted 3 orphaned African painted dog puppies after their mother abandoned them. Against all odds, Cassie cared for these pups, nursing them alongside her own babies. It's heartwarming to see such an emotional bond formed, and it's not just restricted to dogs. There's even the incredible story of Lena, a mother dog in Argentina, who found an abandoned human baby and cared for it as if it were her own. Can you imagine? A dog nurturing a baby? This maternal instinct is so strong in female dogs that they've been known to adopt orphaned puppies from other species, showing just how deep their nurturing nature goes. But that's not all. Female dogs' maternal instincts also make them fiercely protective, and they often show empathy toward injured or sick animals. It's not just about raising puppies, it's about providing love and care to anyone in need. So what's next? Let's explore how all this love affects their lifespan. Now here's a fun fact that might surprise you. Female dogs generally live longer than their male counterparts. In fact, on average, a female dog lives about 2.4 years longer than a male. This might be because female dogs mature faster, meaning they drop their puppyish behaviors earlier and can be trained more easily at a younger age. But it doesn't stop there. Spaying your female dog can increase her lifespan by about 26%, which is a huge difference when you think about it. And it's not just about the years. Female dogs tend to be calmer and less prone to aggressive behaviors, which helps with stress management and leads to fewer health issues in the long run. So when it comes to longevity, girl dogs have a bit of an advantage. But here's something even more interesting. Female dogs are also known to behave a little differently than males. Let's talk about how that plays out. Have you noticed how your female dog might behave differently than male dogs, even if they're from the same breed? Female dogs are often more independent and less clingy than males. They tend to be more reserved when meeting new people, but once they bond with you, it's usually a deep, emotional connection. Another fascinating trait is that female dogs are typically easier to housebreak than males. They often pick up on commands faster, and training tends to be a smoother process. However, they also have their quirks. For instance, female dogs can be more sensitive to human emotions. They seem to understand when you're sad or stressed, and might offer comfort without even being asked. But don't expect them to be completely soft all the time. Female dogs can also be territorial and less tolerant of other animals or strangers. They have their own set of boundaries. So, while they may not be as outgoing as males, they certainly have their own unique personalities. But wait, it's not just about their personalities. There's also a more practical side to being a female dog. Let's dive into their nesting behaviors. Female dogs are known to exhibit nesting behaviors. And if you've ever caught your pup rearranging pillows or digging into the backyard, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But why do they do this? Well, it's all tied to their maternal instincts. When a female dog is in heat or expecting puppies, she will start gathering soft materials like blankets, pillows, and even clothes to create a comfortable and safe space. It's a natural preparation for the arrival of her pups. But here's where it gets interesting. Some female dogs will still exhibit nesting behaviors even when they're not pregnant. This phenomenon, known as a phantom pregnancy, happens when the dog's body exhibits the signs of pregnancy without actually being pregnant. It's caused by hormonal changes after a heat cycle. So don't be surprised if your female dog starts acting like she's getting ready for a litter, even though you know she's not. And while nesting behaviors are pretty cute, they can also be a bit of a mess. But how does this nesting instinct affect their behavior in new situations? Female dogs tend to be more cautious in unfamiliar environments than males. While a male dog might boldly charge into a new situation, a female will usually hang back, assess the situation, and then decide whether or not to approach. This cautious nature can be a protective mechanism. After all, females are often the caregivers and protectors in the wild. They want to ensure the safety of their environment before making any moves. This means that female dogs are often more reserved when meeting new people or visiting unfamiliar places. They may require more time to adjust and sometimes a little extra reassurance from their owner. But don't worry, once they feel comfortable, they're just as loving and loyal as any other dog. They just need a little more time to trust new experiences. Speaking of trust, female dogs also communicate a bit differently than males. Let's take a closer look at their unique communication styles. Female dogs have a unique way of communicating, and it's often much subtler than their male counterparts. For example, female dogs tend to use more body language than barking to express their feelings. They'll look at you with those big, soulful eyes to let you know how they feel, or they might wag their tail in a way that shows affection. But their communication isn't always about being sweet. Female dogs also use body language to set boundaries. They might stiffen up or stand tall to assert dominance or communicate discomfort. One of the most fascinating aspects of female dogs is how they communicate their emotions. They're often more attuned to their owner's emotional states, responding with comforting behaviors if their owner is upset. Their sensitivity to tone of voice can also make them more responsive during training, as they pick up on the nuances in your commands. But that's not all. Wait until you hear how their emotional sensitivity plays into their health. Female dogs are known for their heightened emotional sensitivity, and if you've ever seen your pup react when you're feeling down, you know exactly what we mean. Unlike male dogs who might be a little more independent, female dogs are more in tune with your feelings. They can sense when you're stressed, sad, or happy, and will often come over to comfort you without you asking. They'll nuzzle you, rest their head in your lap, or even just sit by your side, offering silent support. This emotional intelligence makes female dogs exceptional therapy animals. But here's the catch. This sensitivity doesn't just make them great companions. It also makes them more vulnerable to stress. Female dogs are known to experience anxiety more often than males, especially in situations that feel unfamiliar or overwhelming. This can lead to some unique behaviors that are entirely linked to their emotional sensitivity. But that's not all. Let's dive into how you can harness this emotional intelligence to train your female dog and unlock her true potential. Training a female dog often brings surprises, and in a good way. While male dogs might be more eager to please in a somewhat assertive way, female dogs tend to be more focused and responsive to positive reinforcement. This makes them great students in obedience training. They're quick learners, often picking up commands faster than their male counterparts. But they also thrive on emotional connection, meaning that a gentle approach works wonders. Unlike males who may need more physical exercise to burn off energy, female dogs tend to enjoy mentally stimulating activities that strengthen their bond with their owners. Whether it's agility training or simple commands, female dogs usually excel in situations where consistency and positive reinforcement are key. However, this doesn't mean they're perfect. They can also be a bit more sensitive to harsh training methods, which is why positive reinforcement works best. But that's not all. Female dogs also have some social quirks that are pretty fascinating. Let's dive into that. Female dogs are often more selective when it comes to socializing with other dogs and people. Unlike male dogs who may be more outgoing, females tend to be a little more cautious in their social interactions. They often form tight-knit bonds with their human family, but they're more discerning about who they let into their circle. You might notice your female dog showing a preference for familiar faces and becoming more protective of her territory, especially when it comes to other animals. And it's not just with other dogs. They often show more affection toward the people they trust and can form deep emotional connections. That selectiveness can sometimes come across as standoffishness, but it's really a sign of their loyalty. Female dogs also tend to be less aggressive than males when they're around new animals, but they can become territorial when they feel threatened. Now, while female dogs are great at forming connections, their attachment to their humans can lead to some unique behavior. Let's talk about how that affects their bond with their owners. Have you ever noticed how your female dog just seems to know what you're feeling? Well, that bond runs deep. Female dogs are known for forming incredibly strong attachments to their owners. They're not just pets, they become family. They tend to seek out comfort and reassurance from their humans in times of need, offering affection when you're upset and joy when you're happy. In fact, many female dogs are so emotionally in tune with their owners that they can sense mood changes before you even do. This unique connection is one of the reasons why female dogs are so often used as therapy animals. They just know how to bring calm to stressful situations. However, this deep emotional connection can also lead to separation anxiety. Female dogs are more likely to experience distress when their owners leave, and they may engage in behaviors like excessive barking or even destructive actions when left alone. But their loyalty goes beyond that. They'll always be there for you no matter what. But speaking of their sensitivity, there's another unique aspect to their behavior that's pretty fascinating. Let's take a look at how female dogs act in new situations. Female dogs tend to be more cautious than their male counterparts, especially when faced with new environments or unfamiliar situations. While a male dog might charge in headfirst, a female dog will often take a moment to assess the situation first. This cautiousness can make female dogs seem more reserved, but it's a survival trait rooted in their protective nature. They want to ensure their environment is safe before they dive into anything new. This cautious approach can also make them seem a bit more introverted around new people or animals. They may need more time to adjust and become comfortable, which is something that many dog owners find endearing. Once they trust their environment, however, they're just as loving and playful as any other dog. This careful nature can also mean that female dogs take longer to warm up to new pets or people, but once that bond is formed, it's incredibly strong. Now, let's talk about how these girls communicate with us and with each other. Female dogs communicate in ways that are often more subtle than their male counterparts. While males might be more likely to bark or make noise to get your attention, female dogs often rely on body language. They use their eyes to communicate their emotions, staring at you with affection or concern, depending on how they're feeling. Tail wagging is another big clue. Female dogs can convey everything from excitement to nervousness simply through their tail position. And if they're feeling particularly affectionate, you might notice them snuggling up to you or licking your face. Female dogs also have a unique way of expressing their discomfort or displeasure. They might not bark as loudly as a male dog, but they can give you a stern look, or even just turn their back to you to signal that they need some space. Their communication styles are incredibly nuanced, and often their behavior speaks louder than words. But it's this ability to understand each other without words that makes the bond between a female dog and her owner so special. So, there you have it, 12 fascinating facts about female dogs that prove they're truly one of a kind. Thank you for watching! If you loved learning about these incredible female dog facts, make sure to check out our next video 10 bizarre things only female dogs do. You won't believe some of the things that make girl dogs so unique. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing insights into the world of dogs. Until next time, give your pup a little extra love.